Hey y'all, welcome back to Pure South Pastures. So glad you joined me today. It's cold. It's been in the 20s every morning for the last 3 days, so frost has hit us hard, which that sets back our warm season grasses. Today we're in a paddock though where we've got a lot of cool season grass, and I'll show that to you. I'll talk more about today about our experiment with supplemented protein and stockpiling some Bermuda Bahia, some warm season grass. That's our plan for the first of the winter. So hang out with me today. Let's talk about that. I also want to give you some progress update on Knox, our livestock guardian dog. As you can see behind me, I've got the sheep and the cattle grazing in this small paddock together. This is where they're going to be for today, and it's going to be a good day. So hang out, let's do some chores, and we'll talk about all the things that are going on here on the farm. This is a pretty awesome morning. It's been cold, as I said, and these animals are doing well. Man, they're tearing this paddock up. Look at these sheep. They've been wearing out that privet hedge, and got a little too close. And some of these tall woodies, they're in here just taking the leaves off of those. The cows are on the fescue. Look at this. I need to do it out here. This fescue is, and there's just a lot of it. And that's how most of this paddock right here is. And this isn't even our leased property. The property that we lease is right here, and this is a 20-acre block that is attached to it, but somebody else leases it, and they cut hay off of it. And you can see they cut out there, but because of all of these trees and there's Knox. He's chasing stuff out of those wood piles over there, making sure that nothing's gonna get the sheep. Come on, buddy. Come on, Bubba. Anyway, because it's so rough down here, and there's some cut trees and stuff, they didn't cut the hay down here, and so I reached out to my neighbor who leases this, and I said, hey, if y'all aren't gonna do anything with that little corner, it's got a lot of fescue in it, would you mind if we traded some grazing? And he was happy to oblige. And so anyway, we're just making use of this that wasn't going to be used this year. I think they're going to get in here after we're out of here and cut it, clean it up, push up some logs and stuff, and then so they can come in here and hay this next year. So good to have good neighbors, and we try to work together with everybody, and it's really awesome. Thankful for the opportunity to come in here and utilize this because it's a lot of protein. We've been supplementing protein because the forage that we're using has been so low. And today we don't have to supplement any protein because they're going to get it on this green grass. Actually, I think we'll get 2 days out of this. There's a pretty big piece here. It's a couple acres. And I want them to utilize it well since it's going to get cut anyway. It's not like if I was managing it to come back to it. It's going to be mowed. So let's go ahead and utilize it, take care of it, and take care of them. A lot of people don't like fescue because of the toxicity issues, and I know that it is an issue. We've had our cattle on quite a bit of fescue, and they seem to do well. So it seems like some animals it affects differently, and it's different times of the year, creates issues. But I think we're going to be all right. We're only going to be on this for a couple days, and then we'll be moving out. So the sheep are loving it too. There's all kinds of brush in here, and so the sheep really make good use of that. So you can see they're over here wearing out the trees, got their heads up. They're going to town, taking the leaves off. I watched them yesterday. They were on a Bradford pear. There's a clump of Bradford pears in it was a log pile that Bradford pears had grown out of yesterday on the place that we were at, and they were just pretty much all day stood around those clump of trees, and every time I came out they were just wearing them out. So they love these woody trees, and vines and stuff with broadleafs on them, and they can just wear those things out, so that's great. I'm really happy with I'm pleased with grazing these together. They're doing a great job. They get along well. I have not seen any issues of the cows just going crazy. I did see a sheep walk behind one of the cows the other day, and I guess it just startled the cow, man. She kicked really hard, and it thumped on that little lamb. And I was like, oh man, that was a hard hit, but it was fine. It didn't seem to affect it at all. It just kept on going. These animals are tough. So, pretty cool. I see Knox is trying to find his way in. He's looking at the fence saying, I'm not going in there. He's trying to get himself in here, so I'm gonna try to help him get in. Take him around here to the side where the gate is. He can come around that way. I'm glad he respects the fence though. He went out, it's about a 15-acre block of woods right there, and he went out through there. I love to see him do that before the animals come in. He'll go out first and push out anything that might be out there. He's really taking care of it, so that's beautiful. That's how they're supposed to do. Let me make sure he gets in here, and I'll come back to you in just a bit. Woo, sun's bright this morning. I got Knox back over in here. He was standing on the edges because of the electric fence. I've got one strand going around this area that they're in right now. But as you can see, he's content. He loves being with his sheep. I've not come out. I visit the animals a lot of times, 10 or 11 at night, and I've not come out one time in the evening that he wasn't there, right there with the sheep. And he loves being with them. He went out in these woods a minute ago. You can see right behind me, there's a big block of woods, and he was out there. Just kind of when we came in here, he pushed through there. Well, I set up the fence. Well, that put him on the outside of the fence, so that was my bad. And then after he'd kind of run around, went through these big clumps of, there's log piles and stuff over there. He ran through all of that, making sure that nothing was, no coyotes or booger monsters out there. He came back and was just sitting on the outside of the electric fence. He didn't want to test it, so I picked him up and brought him in. He didn't really like that, but he was glad to be able to get in here. And then he came and just did what he's doing right now, just piling up right with the sheep. These cows they're going after this grass. They're getting a bite of brown with a bite of green. It's gonna be good for them. You can see this cow. She's part of our herd is Devon commercial cows, and you can see she's already getting her winter hair coat, which is a really curly coat like Devons do. She's pretty. She's a good cow. Shouldn't have the best udder. As she gets older, I'm a little concerned that we may have to cull her for that. She's only had 2 calves, but she's done well. You can tell they're just going to town on this stuff. Sheep love it, cows love it. We won't have a lot of green to graze this winter. Most of what we graze is going to be standing warm season grass. I drove over some of our stockpiled field yesterday, and I think we got a lot of grass. I think there's a lot of forage there. I'm just interested to see how this is going to turn out, so hope you'll follow along for the experiment. It may completely bomb, or it might go well. We'll see. Right now I'm supplementing with a little bit of cottonseed meal. I'm mixing that with salt just to kind of limit their intake of that. Seems to be working well. They've been on some pretty dry forage for the last week. One of the things that I failed to mention, Knox is knocked out, man. I guess he's been up all night. Look at him, he's just laying in the sun. Can't even hardly see him in there. Here he is. Hi, buddy. I think on the last video, in order to keep him in the fence, I put him on a tire, and then I took the tire off and he was just connected to a chain. That chain still slowed him down a little bit. But after the day that I made that video, he just had seemed to be doing so well. I wanted to see what he did if I took the chain off completely. And he has just stayed with the sheep so well. From the dog that wouldn't stay on the farm when we brought him home, to the dog that won't leave the sheep. It's pretty amazing. So I'm really grateful. Thank you, Lord, for a dog that's doing his job. It's really cool. Filling up the pig's water. While I'm doing that, I was just going to talk to you for just a minute. I've got some people coming today to buy our Featherman poultry plucker. You know, sometimes you have to make decisions just pertaining to lifestyle. And a couple years ago, we got in a bind with our processor, and they booked up all the processing dates. So I scrounged around really quickly and got some processing equipment, and we did 3 batches. We processed 3 batches that year on farm. And we can do that. It's just not feasible. It's not beneficial in our lifestyle. It's one of those decisions we have to make. Hey, this is just not something that we need to be doing all the time. So trying to do a bunch of things at once here, as you can tell. But you know, it's we're able to do it, but we don't need to spend. I mean, it's a full day, and we don't need more pressure like that. And so anyway, long story short, Robin and I made the decision together that we're just not going to do that anymore. So that's just a lifestyle choice that we're going to get our dates early. And I did try to get my dates early that year. It was just kind of an anomaly. It's a weird deal. The processor had some issues, and because of that, they ended up just getting really backed up. So today, got some people coming from Missouri to look at our Featherman poultry plucker. So we'll be doing that in just a few minutes. I'm going to get these pigs watered. I'm going to grab a electric fence off of a reel off of this paddock right here, and I'm gonna go up there to meet them. I mentioned that because you know, you have to make decisions. You have to make decisions on what is your bandwidth, how much margin do you have, and with the life we live, we don't have a lot of margin. There's always more to do than we have time to get it done, and we have to make priorities and decide what we can do and what we can't do. We did that in a pinch, and it's just not something that we want to do long term, not sustainable for us. So that's why we're selling the plucker today, and that's just one example of decisions that you have to make when you're doing this lifestyle. It all sounds good, but when your priorities are really other things, and this is just a side thing. For us, ministry is pretty much all consuming. We got a lot going on with the church and with our family. So this is just something that we do on the side. So anyway, we're going to sell that today, and that just be something that's not sitting around here, just in a storage facility here at the house, and we'll make some room, open up some cash flow for the farm, and hopefully we can get this thing sold.